Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we got some pretty interesting news when it comes to PlayStation and Sony, when it comes to how they're going to be dealing with the PlayStation 5 30th anniversary console editions. Now, as you guys probably know, we did already have our drop over here in America, and while there was a lot of issues with it, a lot of scalpers involved, and there really wasn't too much of a big major blockage. Now, they did have a few things, the PlayStation Direct, the queue system, you need to have a PlayStation account. Like, there was a few things there, but right now we're seeing that Japan is now coming out with a huge thing that, in my honest opinion, would have maybe not 100% saved the drops and the restocks, would have been a little bit on the helpful side as well. And a lot of people are still kind of in the same boat, agreeing with this. And at the same time, people are just still kind of distraught on how PlayStation and Sony have been dealing with all these drops. So I want to hear your thoughts as we go throughout the video. If you guys like this, dislike it, or if you think it even changed that much in the first place. And of course, there's been a lot of frustration too as well when it comes to Americans, myself included. So I want to hear all your thoughts and comments down below. I do want to remind you guys, there probably will be at least a few more little micro drops or general drops going on with it too as well. I think there have been a few confirmed too, so definitely make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on the channel. For number one, as you guys probably know, we have a PS5 Pro giveaway, so subscribe here. We have a second channel in the description and two different Twitter accounts, my main Twitter and also my Twitch one, so if you guys want to go follow those on up, and of course the Twitch room down below if you guys want to follow. But we have a lot of stuff to go talk about, so let's go talk about it. So let me kind of maybe get straight to the point, because there's a lot of yapping in this video, but let's just get to it. The drop was horrible. We're going to cover this. We're going to keep on talking about it. Like, there's a few, like I said, micro drops that might be on the way too as well, and other various big retailers that will sell the stock. So it's still like relevant, although maybe not like that big head honcho, but it's still relevant around. But Japan actually has a way now to go and deal with their consoles. And this is all in regards now for the 30th anniversary edition. So this actually has been translated from Japanese, I guess technically from Japan, they posted from Japan, from the Japanese portion of the PlayStation website. And this basically, it might, if the wording's a bit weird, can you guys the heads up on that one. But as of right now, they're basically saying they're going to start doing their accepting their applications for the reservations on the PlayStation 5 and, all this usual stuff. Like, hey, like, gets to the console, this is what you get, here's the pictures, here's the price point, the usual stuff. And obviously the price too as well. But this is where people are both excited for Japan, mad that it didn't happen in America, and people are questioning why this wasn't a thing here. And I'll show you guys the community reception, or you guys can see this. There's the reservation, application, and purchase conditions for the PS5 Pro 30th Anniversary Edition. Reservations only those who meet these following conditions. And the first one's the biggest one. You have to apply for a PlayStation Network. So basically, you must have had your account with PlayStation Network, once again, translated from Japanese, with Sony account registered in Japan as of at least February of 22nd, 2014 to Thursday, September 19th, which is probably around the time they were kind of announcing it, hyping on up, give or take-ish, from that date on either the PS4 or the PS5, and as well is probably the bigger one, although it's a little bit on the lower side still, but it's still big. It still kind of differs pure scalpers. We're going to talk about that. But basically, both parties have a total start-up time of at least 30 hours or more. And of course, you also have the Sony account. Is basically you have to have like your Sony ID or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't have these newly registered things by like January 19th of 2022, you basically had to go register all your stuff and make sure it's all good and have some like Sony IDs. We didn't really need to have this per se on America, but just think having like a normal PlayStation account in regards. So anyway, the whole moral of this is in Japan, they got the better hookup. Like, let's just be honest here. Now, I'm sure you guys watching the video, myself included, 30 hours isn't really that long. But I do want to go and stress that there is a big wave of people that are just pure scalpers. And what I mean by that, and I learned this a lot from the PS5, Switch, Nvidia, Xbox restock era a few years ago, and even concert tickets and shoes, people just go where the money is. And I interacted with quite a few scalpers who never even owned a PlayStation account until they had to go and have one officially for the PlayStation Direct. Now, I did go and recommend people, obviously, to go have their PlayStation accounts, but I was assuming anyone who subscribed to my channel before this was most likely someone who probably really likes, PlayStation as a whole, so it makes sense. But it sucks, because right now, Japan kind of took care of their audience a little bit more. Like I said, 30 hours isn't the biggest deal, but if you have a random guy who does not give a zero about consoles as a whole, limited edition things as a whole, or maybe even forgot their password, like they played maybe PS2 back in the day, PS3 back in the day, then kind of like whatever, then they were completely locked out. And I think the biggest thing about this, and I want to stress this point because it's probably the biggest one, this would have stopped botters, and this would have stopped people with like 100 accounts. So I do want to say high level 30 hours isn't the biggest for a normal user. But like I said, for a normal user, some scalpers for maybe one account probably played some PlayStation, sure. But at the end of the day, some people were utilizing multiple accounts. Now, once again, if you're a normal like PlayStation person, that's fine, I guess. The issue, if you have like your phone and laptop, like in my mind, if you have like your main PC and you have your phone, okay, like you're just doing whatever, it's a little bonus. But if you're someone out there with 50 different phones, which I'm assuming most people watching this video don't have like 50, 100 phones running like a bot farm and scalping farm, or having like a bajillion different browsers open on different Wi-Fi networks and 5G networks and different addresses and stuff like that, which some botters did do that. That's a big difference. Like if you're a mom and pop and you have your phone out and your like computer going for like a Taylor Swift ticket, a brand new pair of shoes, PlayStation 30th anniversary limited edition, that's fine. Like that's in my mind, whatever. Like most people do that. But if you have 50, 100, 1,000 phones between 5 different people, which some people were doing that through these drops, like the technology is there and people have it. Like if you ever want to Google, you can find like people who have like iPhone things where it's unironically like they're on like an actual wall. Like people go to a wall, they're plugged on in. It's crazy. And this would have stopped all of that. But they just didn't do it here in America, and I don't know why. So going through the IGN tweet over here too, and you guys can see some of these responses. I'll make myself a little bit bigger, although I'm sure you guys want to see the lovely consoles. But like you can see all these responses saying should have done this everywhere. And I, even after I made my video complaining about the fact that I did not get my 30th anniversary edition, which I don't want to sound salty, I just cover the news. Don't hate me. Don't judge me. Whatever. I'm just here to go and talk about this stuff because I think it's entertaining. So don't mind me. I like my PlayStation news. That's why I always tell you guys to subscribe. So I give you guys more PlayStations, hook you guys on up. And I feel like I should probably do more stuff on Twitter too. So let me know if I ever shared down below. Obviously go follow, but I kind of want to be a little more active on Twitter. But basically they're like, hey, we should have done this everywhere. And they're also saying too, it should even be higher. And I agree. I think 30 hours is very low. Like that's like launching Fortnite when it was fun for like a weekend and you super binged it, for like a week. Or you were on like Rocket League, you play Call of Duty once every year for 3 hours and it adds up over time. I do think 30 hours is very low. But once again, the biggest thing is that would have stopped bots. That would have stopped people running a bajillion different accounts because they just wouldn't have had it in the first place. And this is what even people are saying. Look at James. Should be 300 hours to be honest. 30 hours got to pump up those numbers they're working, which I agree. But once again, I think the big picture is they just don't want to have people making a brand new account, making 50 different accounts to go and like just try to spam it on up, which makes sense to me. It generally makes sense to me. Like just don't get rid of the get rid of the botters. Those probably the bigger issues. And if like let's say a scalper gets it, like I don't want to be. I'm pretty anti-scalper on my videos, but let's say a scalper gets it, they earned it. I don't say they earned it because they're just going to resell. I wish they didn't earn it. But, it's the luck of the draw. It's the lottery. You just got to do what you got to do. Bad people win the lottery sometimes. It's just how the world works. Like, that's the reality. I don't mind. I lost. I understand. I'm going to try to get the different consoles when they come out or whatever. But that's just how it is. So, once again, that makes sense. But it should have been, bro, such a way bit longer. Give me at least 100, and I think even 100 hours is very low. I can tell you I probably have tens of thousands of hours on my PlayStation, and I'm not even probably like a crazy PlayStation user. I mean, think about this alone. If I go and beat 5 major games, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, like Harry Potter, that's probably at least 100 hours right there alone, and that's excluding multiplayer games, Rocket League, Fortnite, Apex, like Call of Duty, whatever else I may have played and checked on out. Like, it's would have been a lot of hours. 100 hours would make sense. That's at least you bought and played through at least a few single player games, or at least you played games on the weekend, whatever. Like even one of my years, Call of Duty back in the day was at least 10 days played, which isn't crazy, but that's at least like 250 hours. And like this is meant to be a 30th anniversary edition. This was always meant to basically be happy for the people who support PlayStation as a whole. I didn't ever one of these consoles to go to some random guy who has 5 different accounts, 20 different accounts, and just wants to go make a profit. And that happened. People were gloating about it. People were bragging about it. People were like just on top of this. And it sucks. I don't like this. And that's not a good vibe. So it is good that Japan did something. I do want to say that. And I do think 30 hours, at least once again, high level, got rid of these like people running multiple accounts. But like a lot of people saying like learn something should be way higher. At the very least, allocated percentage of the consoles, those who have at least been around for a long time, should be higher. Should have been at least like 12,300 minutes, which is 205 hours, which actually that's a perfect number. They should have stuck with it. Someone who's been around for a while should have that, no problem. Some people also say that's unfair, and they obviously are getting ratioed because people probably think they're stupid because then you just have people reselling it instead. Should have just made more. Still agree with that one. Still gonna always keep on saying that. And of course, should have just removed the limited edition nonsense as well. well. Maybe get the cover plates. I think people would probably spend the money for it. I would too. So, and something like Astrobot's only 4 hours. Either way, people are upset about it. You go through all these comments and they're saying this should have been going on everywhere. 30 hours is basically nothing. They should have done it in America. It's a $1,000 system. It'll still sell it quickly. 30. Now you think it's funny. And then people are saying this is a start and people will still be scalping them. So at least Japan did do something amazing for it. And I'm sure the drop itself will go a little bit better. I don't even think the drop's even done yet in Japan as of now, or it's like ongoing in these like next 1 or 2 days, or just happened. I'm not really sure, because I'm obviously not Japanese itself, but I think this should have happened in America. And definitely subscribe and leave a like if you guys agree. Your thoughts and comments down below. And of course, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on for the ongoing PS5 Pro giveaway. This channel, second channel, 2 Twitter accounts. And if you guys want to, the Twitch down below, all linked as well with the affiliate stuff. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Give me please all your thoughts and comments on everything down below.